unto us a child is born. Okay, so in case you haven't gathered where we are yet today, we are at Presser Hall at Bethany College on the Bethany College campus here in Lindsborg. This is a fantastic place, first of all. There's such great history here. But we're going to be talking with the conductor and the just go-to person for the Messiah and his wife, Jeannie, who, as you've already heard, has a beautiful, beautiful singing voice. And we're going to be talking this morning just about the Messiah performance, which is coming up, and then a few other things of interest. We talked about, as we were going to do these videos, that we were going to be satisfying curiosity, telling the stories of Lindsborg, and sometimes the story behind the story. Many times our visitors and even people in our own community, we think we know the story, and yet sometimes the stories are so much richer and so much deeper. And I think that's what we're going to find today. So I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see Mark and Jeanne. Mark, first of all, you have a very different mask on today. Can
Yes.
you tell me a little bit about it?
My mask is a special singer's resonance mask. You can see it's kind of like a duck bill. It's got 3 layers inside and is sealed on the top and the bottom very well. They're rather expensive, but we were really lucky to get some grants from the county to be able to buy these for everyone who's singing Handel's Messiah this year.
Oh, fantastic. So just looking behind you a little bit, if I just do a little bit of a pan of the camera, there's a lot less seating than would be typical for Messiah. In a typical year, how many people do you have singing?
I would say between 200 and 250 in a regular year, and so this year we have probably 150, which is amazing that we have so many this year.
So everyone is masked up like this.
Yep.
And what will that look like for the performance itself then?
If you want to pan out into the audience,
Sure.
the chorus, the majority of the chorus, probably 100 or more of the chorus, will be seated socially distanced out here in the audience.
Okay.
And then the orchestra is also socially distanced on stage. And you can see that there are some seating up on the sides for chorus members, but mainly the stage is for orchestra. So we're really spread out. I mean, there'll be 80 yards in between the singer back there and the trumpet player up at the top, because we tried to put the brass players farther away from anyone else, since they can't mask while they're playing.
Yeah, I was going to say with some instruments, that's just impossible. Yeah. So we've had people calling our office and saying, I want to attend the Messiah. What's going on this year? What does that look like?
Well, because things are going so well, we are going to be able to allow an audience in the balcony. So there's actually quite a bit of seating socially distanced in the balcony. And the way people can find out about that is to call the Messiah Festival office. My colleague Manda Deegan is our Messiah Festival coordinator. And if you call the Bethany number, it's 785-227-3380, and then call extension 8235. You can leave a voicemail, and Manda will save some seats for you or write your name down. You'll want to say, I'm Mark Lucas, and I want 4 seats for Easter.
And if you've not been to the Messiah, this is it's just an amazing performance. First of all, it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
Do you want to share more about, just what that means to you, just the piece of music itself?
Well, I think Handel had a quote that I'm going to paraphrase that said, "My God, I hope that I did more than entertain them." Mm-hmm. And Handel, while he didn't mean for it to be sung during a church service, did mean for it to be a very religious experience, and I can say that it's probably more of a religious experience here in this town than in most places.
So how many years has this been going on here in
Lindsborg? So this is year 140.
Amazing, right? Longest running performance in North America of Handel's Messiah.
Yep. And Alma Swenson was the caretaker of it from the beginning, and I was the president's wife, and she rode around town on horseback teaching the Swedish immigrants Handel's Messiah, which for some of them was the first English they learned.
And the first music,
right.
Possibly they'd been able to read. So just an incredible story from the inception of this, just from the very beginning. So what is your history in Lindsborg?
So I was born here and was raised here. My mother was a head nurse at the local hospital, and I grew up in Lindsborg, going to the Sanzane Gallery once a month for school, and really in this culturally rich town. And then I left. I went to Bethany, graduated from Bethany, and then I left for 20 years, and came back 8 years ago with Jeannie, and it's been a wonderful experience.
So, Jeannie, tell me more about that, because this was a change for both of you. You changed jobs.
Yes.
And why was it important to be here?
Honestly, it was just the best thing for all of us. We were both ready for a change, and it seemed like divine intervention that this came open when it did. And we wanted our boys to grow up here with the community and the sense of history and the sense of responsibility and kindness that comes with that. And so we've just had the most wonderful experience.
I heard Mark say one time he wanted his boys to have the same Norman Rockwell experience growing up that he had.
Yeah.
And I thought that was actually that's something I have remembered many times when I talk to people about this place, because I think there's some truth to that.
Oh, I would agree, absolutely. A friend of mine and I actually call it Mayberry, and we start whistling the Andy Griffith song.
So growing up with music being important to you, and definitely wanting to impart that to your kids, what do you think that has been like in this community? Because we talk about, in this day and age, athletics seem to be a very important thing, and they're very good. They're healthy for us. I mean, all of those things are good. But do you feel like music has the same importance in our school system, or the arts in general?
Oh, absolutely. I can't even tell. So when we were in a very large metropolitan area, Matthew was getting ready to go to a middle school that had 1,200 kids at it, and they were giving us trouble about doing band and orchestra and gifted education. And we came here, and not only could he do band and orchestra and gifted education, but he could also do choir, and he could also play 3 sports. And
juggle all of it and have an amazing
right, and nobody
experience.
gives you trouble about,
Yeah.
You have a Lindsborg Swedish folk dancer practice, that's okay.
Yeah,
you know.
And that's part of our culture here, is that we want our students to be well-rounded and to have that great experience here that prepares them for not just college, but a future life of being able to perform. Because many of the people, talk about some of the ages of the people that perform in Messiah and how many years they've been doing it.
So Bob Allstedt, I think, is on year 58.
Which is not unheard of.
No, Bob was one of my teachers, science teachers, when I was in middle school, and coaches. But when he was, and he's been retired for a number of years now, but when he was a boy, before his voice changed, he sang in the St. Matthew's Passion 58 years ago. Mm-hmm. And but we also have people who have never done this before and are here for their first year. And I always tell people, no one expects a first-year singer to carry the load. You come and enjoy the experience, and then in your second year, your third year, your fourth year, then you'll start being more active. We welcome them to be active as singers in their first year, but a lot of people aren't comfortable with that. So we like them to ease their way into it.
So I can speak from experience. I did this one year. I decided to take time away from my busy tourism schedule, because we start ramping up about the time this happens.
Right.
And while it was a lot for me to give up my Sundays, because that was my one day when I really didn't have a lot going on, it was so relaxing, and it was such a great sense of community, and I think such a sense of pride from everyone that they were putting together this exceptionally, really difficult piece of music. And then Bach St. Matthew's Passion. Yeah. Talk about that too, because that's beautiful as well.
Right, and we haven't done that. We didn't do it last year because of COVID, and this year because of COVID. But we started doing that in 1929 here, the year that this building was built. And in fact, until recently, scholars thought that it had been premiered in 1729, and then there was a revival in 1829, and then in 1929, the Bethany Oratorio Society started performing it here. And it's one of the seminal works of all of choral orchestral music. Double choir, double orchestra. It's very, very unusual for a town this size to do a performance at all of it, let alone since 1929.
So I think my final question probably to you is, what do you feel personally when you get to direct this, when you get to take part in it, when you get to interact with the people that are doing it? How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Well, Lindsborg in general is just such a beautiful community, and there are very many pockets that you can get involved in and that you can be a part of, and this is just the pinnacle of that. You're in a room full of people who love to be here and want to be here, and because we all come together, we create something better than ourselves, you know? Mm-hmm. The product of all of us is better than what we individually bring to the table, and it's a holy experience for me, and it's beautiful.
For me, it's really the culmination of the dreams I had in high school. You know, I performed in the group when I was in high school, and it was a dream of mine, someday I'm going to maybe get to conduct this somewhere else, because I didn't figure I'd be able to do it here.
Yeah.
And so when that opportunity came 8 years ago, it was really a blessing.
Well, and I would say Doris Carlson, who is Andy Carlson's mom, heard him say that on her porch when he was in high school. And so it's like so cool that
to be able to
was able to fulfill that dream.
So we all remember your quotes, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Quotable. Yeah.
You're quotable. So I'm going to put you on the spot and tell you, as we go out today and we just tell everyone goodbye, would you sing a few more things for us? Just sing a few lines. Can you do that?
What do you want
together?
to do?
Come
Beautiful, just beautiful. So, fun times. Learned a little bit today. We hope to see you again next week. We have fun things planned. I have this scheduled for the next 6 months. So every week we're going to be learning new things, seeing behind the scenes, learning people's stories, and we hope you just join us. Signing off from Lindsborg. We'll see you next week.